Hello there everyone, it's Aidan here from Push Square with our review of Battlefield 6. Let's see if this one's been worth the wait in our full PS5 review. Let's cut to the chase. Battlefield 6 is the best the series has been in years. EA and its collective of Battlefield studios are clearly keen to get this one right. And while this military outing isn't quite a slam dunk, it easily delivers on its promise of high-octane, cinematic and explosive multiplayer action. Battlefield 6 marks the return of the modern military setting, and it does so with its most comprehensive offering in some time. With the full campaign, the return of Portal, and of course, the multiplayer, there is a little something here for everyone. The campaign is easily the weakest of the bunch though. Across roughly 6 hours, you'll blast your way through the mountains of Tajikistan or sneak around the alleyways of Cairo. Its visual flair, combined with stellar gunplay, keeps things fresh enough. From a daft blockbuster perspective, I enjoyed working my way up the townhouses of Brooklyn or going hell for leather as I made an advance on an enemy base. However, if you're hoping for a searing military narrative, you're not going to find it here. The Battlefield 6 campaign takes itself a little too seriously and tries its very best to come across as a grown-up military thriller. Whenever the game cuts back to its cinematics with a political figure, interest dips. There are little pockets of narrative intrigue, but most of the time, when people start yapping, I just want to get back to shooting. Suffice it to say, you shouldn't buy Battlefield 6 solely for the campaign. It's an alright side dish, but nothing more. However, something you certainly should buy Battlefield 6 for is its multiplayer. After the simplicity of Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 and the almost sterile feel of Battlefield 2042, Battlefield 6 just feels right. Movement is slower but feels deliberate. Weapons are heavy and powerful. The visuals are packed with VFX for smoke, explosions, debris and the new tactical destruction which can tear the faces of buildings down. If you're looking for those classic Battlefield moments, then Battlefield 6 has them in abundance. Whether it's the roar of a jet as it tears through the sky above you, or the whizzing of scattered bullets as you dive for cover, there's a magical sort of carnage that can be found in the multiplayer offering here. It has an electric energy that I haven't felt in the series for quite some time. And the multiplayer offering is fairly substantial too, with a variety of modes from returning classics like Breakthrough and Conquests to new ones like Escalation. I mean, they all do work the same more or less, go here, shoot that, capture or defend the point, but the toolbox of weaponry, class perks and vehicles give each its own fresh and dynamic feel. I suppose that some will feel that the current roster of maps is lacking a bit. There are my favourites like Siege of Cairo or Liberation Peak or the remastered Operation Firestorm. But some are a little bit samey, like the 1-2 punch of Manhattan Bridge and Empire State. I'm not saying I don't like those maps entirely, but they don't feel like new offerings in the way that some of the other maps do. I'm certainly keen to see what new maps we get as post-launch content kicks off. However, the inherent grind and gameplay loop are simply too good for a lacking map roster to spoil the fun. The leveling and weapons grind is slow yet steady, making time invested in each weapon and class feel purposeful and worthwhile. I loved slowly shaping my favourite carbine into the perfect killing machine, with numerous attachments that can vastly change the feel of a gun. Whether it's weapons, gadgets, or even the plentiful amounts of weapon camos, there's a grind to be found for all levels. I reckon that some will bounce off it as it is, dare I say, a bit more hardcore than Call of Duty's leveling system. But I reckon this is going to give Battlefield 6 a bit more longevity. Now, if you need a break from the main multiplayer, Battlefield 6 also sees the return of Portal, a custom level and map maker. Via a PC, players can design their own maps and custom game modes, and this has been severely upgraded from its debut in Battlefield 2042. Now, I'm not entirely convinced that it will end up being anything other than an XP farm like it was in 2042, but there are some fun examples tucked away in this mode, like a recreation of Call of Duty's shipment map, or wave-based zombies modes, or even silly stuff like hammers and knives only. There is a noted lack of polish, which contrasts with the rest of the Battlefield package, but I'm excited to see if anything cool comes from the community down the line. Now, all of this is wrapped up in what is easily the most polished Battlefield launch in recent memory, potentially ever. Even after extended sessions with the multiplayer, the biggest issue that I came across was the dropped frames when the game transitions into gameplay at the very start of a match. Otherwise, it runs flawlessly on both the PS5 and PS5 Pro, with 60 frames per second acting as the baseline and 120Hz modes available too. Now, the PS5 goes a long way to amplify this experience with stellar DualSense haptics and adaptive trigger support. The rumble of explosions on Sony's pad is incredibly immersive, and you can feel the chunkiness of LMGs through its triggers. What I love even more though is the sound design. The default mix is impeccable as it dynamically shifts from bombastic and expansive soundscapes to echoey and tinny corridors. These play off excellently with the 3D audio available on PS5, especially with a decent pair of headphones. And then the War Tapes mix takes things even further. I highly recommend checking that one out. So, Battlefield 6 is a phenomenal multiplayer experience that immerses and impresses with its chaotic mix of tight gunplay, best-in-class audio design, and the cinematic flair that made me fall in love with the series in the first place. The campaign isn't anything to write home about, and Portal has yet to fully prove its worth, but they act as additions to what is easily the best Battlefield in over a decade. I'm giving Battlefield 6 an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for checking out my review of Battlefield 6. Let me know what you're thinking of it down in the comments below. And while you're there, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content just like this. Anyway, that's all from me today, so until next time, I've been Aaron, and this has been Push Square.